There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
answer the question, would you veto?
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Alors, hier, je vous ai fait mon analyse sur le débat. Bien évidemment, beaucoup sont venus dire ici, comme les chaînes mainstream, que Donald Trump avait perdu, Kamala Harris avait été fantastique, mais je vous ai dit que les conditions du débat étaient faites pour qu'elle ne sombre pas et pour que lui soit en difficulté. Et bien évidemment, la plupart des gens du système se sont précipités de fanfaronner sur le fait qu'elle avait battu Trump, Trump était en difficulté. Ce qu'on a constaté, c'est que les journalistes faisaient du fast-checking sur Donald Trump et surtout vérifier les choses que Donald Trump a dit sur le passé et l'obligeaient à revenir dessus. Et ne revenait pas sur les mensonges que Kamala Harris disait. Ce qui fait que Donald Trump, il était obligé de corriger les mensonges de Kamala Harris lui-même et après de se justifier par rapport aux journalistes. Donc il n'avait pas le temps d'étaler ses idées étant donné que chaque réponse était limitée à 2 minutes. Mais comme les États-Unis, c'est pas la France et que là-bas, il y a la liberté de la presse qui est autorisée et que c'est un grand pays avec plusieurs fuseaux horaires, tout le monde ne se réveille pas au même moment, tout le monde ne dort pas au même moment et surtout que l'opinion publique là-bas ne se fait plus dans les médias mainstream, même si beaucoup de gens regardent la télé, et qu'il y a beaucoup plus de personnes qui ont leur autonomie pour dire ce qu'ils pensent par rapport à la politique et par rapport à la société, les vérifications et les vérités peuvent toujours être rétablies. Bien évidemment, les gens du système, eux, pensent toujours avoir la bonne raison et diabolisent tous ceux qui sont contre le système. Simon Hirsch, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owen, tous ceux qui sont contre le système sont diabolisés parce qu'ils portent une parole qui n'est pas celle des milliardaires, qui n'est pas celle de chaînes télé, qui n'est pas celle des soumis. Ici, sur cette vidéo, je veux vous montrer, ou en tout cas, on va avoir la démonstration que ce débat a été largement biaisé. 9 fact-checking, 9 mensonges sur lesquels on n'a pas questionné une seule fois Kamala Harris durant ce débat. Y compris l'histoire de on mange les animaux domestiques. Vous allez voir d'où Trump tient cela et que ce n'était pas un mensonge. Et qu'il existe bien un appel à la police enregistré dans l'État qui a appelé pour dire que Trump c'était un menteur. Donc Trump a dit quelque chose qui a été avéré, qui a repris quelque chose qui est passé à la télé où on questionnait les gens et le maire de la ville a appelé pour dire que c'était pas vrai. Or, il existe l'appel. Et vous savez qu'aux États-Unis, s'il existe l'appel, c'est qu'il existe un rapport. Et comme Trump avait dit, nous verrons bien. Donc, maintenant, tous ceux qui sont venus se plaindre ici, en plus, moi, je n'ai pas dit que Trump avait gagné ou quoi que ce soit. J'ai dit que le débat était biaisé, que Trump, c'était du 1 contre 3. On m'a dit que j'avais menti. Maintenant, à la lumière de la vidéo que vous allez voir, j'espère que revoyez le débat et maintenant dites-moi que ce débat n'a pas été truqué pour qu'elle ne sombre pas. Avec autant de faits non vérifiés sur elle, aucune question vérifiée sur elle, et le fait que Trump, il était toujours poussé à répondre à des questions et à se justifier et à rattraper lui-même les mensonges de Kamala Harris, comment vouliez-vous qu'il brille dans un tel format? Je sais que l'introduction a été longue. Si vous avez patienté jusqu'à là, je vous en remercie. Maintenant, je vous laisse apprécier les 9 débunkages, les 9 fact-checking qui n'ont pas été faits sur Kamala Harris. Bon visionnage. Peace out.
At the debate, they talked about gun buyback. I got every lie on here. You can see it at the top of the screen. Gun buyback. I'm going to let it roll. Roll the film.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Okay. The moderator didn't fact check her, so we did.
I do believe that we need to do buybacks. I support buybacks.
How mandatory is your gun buyback program?
It's mandatory. We want to ban assault weapons. We need an assault weapons ban. We need reasonable gun safety laws in this country, starting with universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapon ban. I'm also in favor of the assault weapons ban, of universal background checks, red flag laws. Congress needs to have the courage to act and renew the assault weapons ban. So it's clear that we must renew the assault weapons ban. Let's have an assault weapons ban. We need an assault weapons ban. Demanding, as we all do, red flag laws, universal background checks, and a renewal of the assault weapons ban. We're saying we need reasonable gun safety laws, including universal background checks, and to your point, Chris, a renewal of the assault weapons ban. It's just the right thing to do. But we still need an assault weapons ban. And yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously. Decisions is my values have not changed. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
No exception. There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County.
And this is when Donald Trump was talking about the former governor. This is him talking about abortion after birth.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
answer the question. Would you veto?
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on 3rd trimester abortions as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you first thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about 3rd trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities. There may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion. But again, we want the government not to be involved in these types of decisions. We want the decision to be made by the mothers and their providers. And this is why, Julie, that legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, shouldn't be telling a woman what she should and shouldn't be doing with her body.
And do you think multiple physicians should have to weigh in as is currently required? She's trying to lift that requirement.
Well, I think it's always good to get a second opinion and for at least two providers to be involved in that decision, because these decisions shouldn't be taken lightly. And so, I would certainly support more than one provider.
All right. Let's go back to the phones now for the governor. We're going to talk now with Mike, who's calling.
We're going to call the abortion facility, and I'm going to tell them I'm pregnant with a 32-week fetus, as you say. Hi, I just turned 32 weeks pregnant. Am I able to come in for an abortion ASAP?
I wouldn't be able to see until the 23rd, so that would put you in 34 weeks.
Can I still have an abortion at 34 weeks?
Yes, and I just have to do an intake. Do you have about 5 minutes?
Sure, I have 5 minutes. Yeah, I just found out that she could have Down syndrome. I can still have the abortion, right, even though she has Down syndrome?
Yeah, so we just have to do an intake because the doctor...
It doesn't fucking matter.
That's late-term abortion, ma'am. That's abortion in the 8th month of pregnancy that's discriminatory based on someone's genetic code. She just confirmed she would commit an abortion on me with my child who's viable and can live outside the womb.
They didn't push back on at all. They came out and said there is no state in the union that allows this. I just showed 2 clips. How can the moderators not fact check this? They actually fact checked the complete lie. Here's another thing. Governor Tim Walz, babies born alive in botched abortions were left to die. Then he removed the reporting requirements. Facts. All right, let's move on to the defund the police.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong.
And then also, again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools. On that point, Donald
in the bloodbath lie.
Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole... That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
I was at the Capitol.
Which is 100% bloodbath that refers to the economy. All you got to do is look up the definition of bloodbath. The moderators knew it, but they didn't say anything. They didn't fact check. Why didn't they do that? Let's do it more. January 6th. This woman claimed that she was there on January 6th. Roll the clip.
On January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there.
Tonight of Kamala Harris. Where were you on January 6th when you were almost hurt or killed by a pipe bomb outside of the DNC? Because you've never spoken of this publicly, and we're kind of confused why you keep implying to people you were at the Capitol when you were not. You were at the Democrat national headquarters there at the DNC in Washington, D.C.
Here's a video of her leaving the Capitol building before anything happened that day. This is surveillance video of her leaving the Capitol building before anything happened. How were you there? Fact checkers got this video like we got the video. And they didn't fact check this woman. Project 2025, been debunked 1,000 times. She said it on the debate. The moderators didn't say nothing about it.
You're going to hear tonight
Lies.
Is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
You know, the breaking news is Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025. Sure, a lot of us have worked in the admin and came together, but this started long before he even announced for president.
Or if I hear you.
Nothing to do with Project 2025. They did not fact check. They got the same video I just seen. All right, let's go with the eating the pet thing. This is a big one.
You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking
television
it from the
saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Clark County.
This is a police radio communication about a person calling in regarding Haitians eating these animals. Listen to it.
Communications.
Yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last numbers was 9898, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on. There was about 4 of them. There was 2 men, 2 women. I couldn't tell the age because I'm in a hurry going to this orientation, so I don't be late.
What direction did they go?
They went up towards the middle of towards downtown.
Okay, and what path are you on?
Right now, hold on just a second. I'm coming to the intersection of. Give me a second here. It says Water and Warder Street.
Water and Warder. Is that the area you saw them?
Yes. It was about 2 minutes back behind me. I was trying to get my phone out and trying to make it to this orientation on time. I'm time crunching here. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be reported.
So how many geese did they have?
They each had 1. Now, the Toyota Tacoma does look like a newer model.
Is that calling it?
All right, so that's a 911 call. Here's a citizen at the city council talking about it.
They're running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They flipping cars in the middle of the street. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like, and I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from this.
What did you do?
Here's a video that people are alleging this is one of these migrants in this apartment complex eating an animal, eating a cat right here.
Why'd you kill the cat?
Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with it.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
You call the Humane Society, see if they'll come pick this cat up. It's deceased.
And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti. Angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth.
Now let's talk about fracking.
Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, that we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. Yeah, so thank you.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes, and I've, again, worked on that.
They didn't fact check none of this. They let this go on and on and on and on. And it's just 9 of them. I'm sure there's a ton more. It was a travesty to watch people that claim to moderate for the American people, and they could not be honest to save their lives. I just show all the lies, and I may just upload this as a video. You can just share it without me even doing commentary. But they just they just told complete lies. Donald Trump was right about tons of things, and they did not verify or fact check it. And the things that they fact checked, they were wrong about. The city mayor, the city manager says that there's no credible reports. I just showed a phone call, a 911 call. A person is in the city and a video of somebody eating a cat that they were a body camera. What are you talking about? The good people on both sides think Ben debunked. Snopes debunked it. I played you what Donald Trump actually said. The video been out for, 10 years now. It can't have been 10 years, but it's been out for a while. What do you want to say, fracking? She just said she worked on it in California. They got this video like we got the video. But you know what they did? They prepared the debate with her team. And they looked up everything that Donald Trump would have said, and they got a fact check against him. They didn't fact check nothing that she said. They didn't fact check nothing that Joe Biden said in the last debate that was debunked. The bloodbath, everything. They let her just say everything. And so people like me and others have to come out and make these videos, try to throw these things together real quick to prove that these people are fraudulent.